Hello, friends. My name is Eric Nelson. I'm the director of Westmont Counseling and Psychological Services, also known as CAPS. And I wanted to make a short video just to talk a little bit about ways that we can think about everything that's going on right now to make it a little bit easier on ourselves. And wherever you may be at, you may be sitting there wondering, wow, he's got a really nice office. I mean, I got this nice little picture of a dog back up here, got these baskets that look very nice. Friends, this is not an office. This is a faux Zoom office, so it looks like I'm in an office, but I'm really not. Let me just take you on a little visual tour here. If we go over this way, this is actually a garage. There's debris on the floor. There's some lamps going on. We got cords hanging from the ceiling, a mattress on the wall, just in case anyone wants to sleep standing up or something. Oh, and look, now we're back in my office here. And I use that because I want to be authentic and let you know where I really am. But I also wanted to use it as I think there's a lot of parallel between where I'm at right now physically and kind of where we're at in general. This office garage that I don't really want to be at, it's cold and it's kind of dark. It's also lonely. Here I am talking to a camera by myself in basically a cave. And it also smells bad. There's a litter box 3 feet that way that is long past due being changed, but I haven't gone to the grocery store to get new stuff, new litter. And I feel like there's a strong parallel to where we're at right now. We didn't really expect this cold, kind of dark place that a lot of us are in, and we're more isolated and alone than we'd want to be, and that's kind of where we are. And also, it just kind of stinks in that actually it does stink where I'm at right now, but it also just stinks when you have plans and things and expectations for how this year is going to go, and not remotely does it go that way. So I want to talk a little bit about ways to think about the scenario that we're in and the scenario that I'm in, actually even in this moment. And David Kessler is a expert on grief of all things. And he recently had an interview in the Harvard Business Review. And I think there's some points that he made that are really, really good. And he talks about grief. And I want to read one of his quotes because he feels that grief is what a lot of us kind of collectively are experiencing. And so this is what he says in his article here. He says, "We feel that the world has changed, and it has. We know this is temporary, but it doesn't really feel that way. And we realize that things will be different. There's a loss of normalcy, the fear of economic toll, the loss of connection. This is hitting us and we are grieving collectively. We're not used to this collective grief in the air. So whether you were, planning on going on an abroad program, or you're a senior and you're thinking about, man, what's going on with the end of this year and what does this mean for myself or the future? There's just grief, and it's just kind of this ugly feeling that we have." Kessler goes on to talk about there's also this anticipatory grief. And with the anticipatory grief, it's almost this like grief about what is unexpected. Almost like there's a storm coming, there's something bad out there. And it's also confusing and mysterious, and we don't really know how to put our hands around it, if that makes sense. And our primitive mind knows that something bad is coming, but it doesn't really know what to do with it. There's this loss of safety in that. It's kind of like that experience of if you've ever been in a car accident, you're like, whoa, I had forgotten that riding in a car is super dangerous and scary. And that's kind of the way we feel globally right now. It's like that sense of whoa, what is certain? What can I hold on to? I don't even know about jobs or the future. And that stuff is really scary and not really easy to handle. Kessler talks about there's different stages of grief. And if you've been in a psych intro class, maybe you've learned about some of these things. But whenever bad things happen, significantly so, like grief, there's different stages. One stage a lot of us go through is denial. This is not happening. I'm totally fine. The virus is not going to affect me. I can do whatever I want. It's like those college students in Florida at the beach. Denial is a normal way that a lot of people respond initially. And then there's anger. Come on, are you serious? I got to go hole up in my room all the time? And then there's bargaining, where there's a stage where people are like, well, maybe in 2 weeks things will be better, right? And then I'll be okay. And then the other situation is sadness, that we get to a point where a lot of us are just sad, really bummed and discouraged and disappointed. I don't know when this thing is going to end. And then lastly, one of the last stages, and this isn't all sequential, and we don't really hop around all the time, but we often, a lot of us will experience these different kind of things as we go through this. But the place that is a better way to handle it is acceptance. And what acceptance is it's the ability to make space for it, really. We find control in that acceptance, where we do things like we will wash our hands, we will keep safe distance, and we'll work in this virtual environment where we have to, and also recognize that there's a lot that we don't have control over. We just accept it. What I like to think about with acceptance also is it's also making space in our lives for these things that we do not like. I don't like this. I don't wish this upon myself. God never called me and said, Eric, hey, are you cool if I just kind of drop this plague down on everyone? And I would be like, God, I'm not cool with that. I don't know why this is happening. I can't really control it. And acceptance is making space for those things in our lives that we can't control, like this whole scenario that we are in. And acceptance is also about so now what? So all this is happening, and now what am I going to do with this time? Sure, I'll wash hands and I'll isolate myself, but what am I going to do with that extra time that I have? What am I going to do with this disconnection that I have from other people? A lot of times when hardship happens in our lives, we actually disconnect from those things that are important. When we're anxious, we just worry about whatever we're anxious about. When we're sad, we kind of close up and go inward. And this time, wherever you're at, I encourage you to stay connected to those things you're passionate about. You're passionate about your friends? Prove it. Connect with them. Reach out to them. Text them. Have Zoom happy hours with them. Connect with each other. You're passionate about wherever you're going in your future, so keep moving that direction. You're worried about your future. Maybe spend some time making your resume. Connect with career development and calling on what to do in this time. Acceptance is about making the space, but then also staying connected to what is meaningful and important in our lives and doing those things. It's not about pretending like this doesn't suck. It does suck. And we have to sometimes feel that ugh. But it also means feeling that blah and connecting to those things that we do care about. And that can make this more tolerable. It's not butterflies and rainbows, but it can be better than what it already is. There's going to be some links on our website if you want more information on ways to cope. If you guys like videos, if videos are helpful, it seems like people are watching these, I would be happy to make more videos on how to manage these times, like what to do when we feel stressed out or unmotivated, or drama with roommates or family that we're like, oh gosh, I can't live another day at home. Be connected to other departments on campus as well. You're worried about your future, reach out to career development and calling. They're doing some really cool stuff. Go to chapel, not go physically, but follow the link and go visit chapel online. I think that sure, it's not required, but I'll tell you what, it's almost one way to stay connected with a lot of people on campus. I strongly encourage you to do that. We're also offering online counseling sessions via CAPS. If you've never had counseling or online counseling, I really recommend you try it. It's one way to manage all this stuff, where you get to talk to somebody who's been educated on how to manage difficult life circumstances. So if you're interested on how to do that, head to our website and go to request an appointment. You can try one, see if you like it. I will wrap up at this point. So things are kind of cold and dark in this garage, kind of isolated. I'm still talking alone to a camera. It still smells like cat just fell next to me with this litter box. So now what? What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to shut off this camera and I'm going to get up and go do something else, because I need to breathe. I need some space. And so whatever you need to do in this time to accept the reality of where you're at, make space for it, and also keep pursuing those things that are important to you, do those. It's still going to be hard, but it's going to be a whole lot more manageable. Take care. Good to see you guys.